everyone. Welcome to another episode of You the Mom. And I'm here today to talk about one of my favorite topics, which is mompreneurship. So, our story is a bit different because the mompreneur guest we have today is actually someone who also comes in from this side of the world. Her story is unique because she's a mompreneur based here in Canada, although in the other side of Canada, which is Vancouver in British Columbia. And it's really interesting because I really love her advocacies. Her product lines are something that resonates a lot with me. So we'll tell you more about that later. And also because I'm a new immigrant myself, so she's more of a seasoned immigrant. And I want to learn from her as well. I want to get to know her journey from her finding her footing here in Canada as a mom and a mompreneur, and how things have changed when she became a mom just 2 years ago, I believe. So we've been wanting to meet. We've been chatting on Instagram for quite some time. And finally, I'm so happy to have her with us. So let's all welcome Kristine Lim of Summit Kids. Hi, Kristine.
Hi. Hi. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for your patience in waiting for me. I was telling you earlier about how things have been so hectic on my end since I traveled back to Manila. But I've been looking forward to having you here and really getting to know you. It's our first time meeting online.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's always wonderful to learn stories of fellow moms and fellow mom entrepreneurs. We always learn from each other and inspire each other as well. And I know someday we're going to meet face to face, but for now, I'd like to know more about you, Kristine. Thank you for reaching out to me on Instagram. So first, tell me about yourself, about your family, and also when you moved here and what you do. And I'll ask you later about how you got in, how you started Summit Kids.
Mhm. So I'm a teacher. So I'm a preschool teacher. When we first moved to Canada, it was back in the 90s. I think I was in grade one. That's my parents had decided to immigrate here. So we moved here, but we went back to the Philippines because my parents had a business. So I graduated high school in the Philippines, and I just moved back here again for university. Yeah, and so after university, I studied early childhood. So I became a preschool teacher. I was working in the preschool field for around 10 years. And then that's when I decided to start my own after school program. And we did the Kidpreneur program. And so, yeah,
Yes.
so after, yes, yeah.
So you weren't a mom yet, right? So you were a teacher, and because you were working with children, that became your first advocacy, which was kid entrepreneurship. So I want to ask you first about what an after school program is, because in back in Manila, it's called differently, right? So can you explain what exactly an after school program is? It's basically extracurricular. Is that the same?
I think, yeah, so it
Yeah.
could be extracurricular.
Yeah.
I think it's called after school just because here school ends at 3, and then there's really no yaya to pick up the kids. So it's either
Yeah.
you do daycare for the younger kids or after school care. Somebody comes and picks, like a daycare picks them up, and then you stay there. So our programs, naman, parents can register for specific kinds of after school. So and then that's what the kids would attend. Yeah, so we
Okay.
did kidpreneur program, but because we wanted an after school or an extracurricular program that allowed kids to practice what they are actually learning in school. So more hands-on and more practical applications of what they're learning in school, let's say. Yeah. Kasi parang,
Oh,
diba, they're
yeah.
in school the whole day, and then they're learning a lot about math, a lot about reading. Although it's good din naman the other programs, but we wanted something different para mas ma-practice ng kids.
Yeah, it sounds really unique too. So wait, so what age did you offer it? At what level, not? And when you say after school, so this did you also pick the kids up from school, from daycare, or did you tie up with another program? How did that work?
So here in Vancouver, we we work with some public schools and some
Yeah.
community centers. So we offer it. It depends. So some schools want it exclusive for their kids only. So we start
Mm.
the classes at 3, and then only their kids can register. Um, some of the community centers are open to the public, so other people can register or
Can
enroll in
register.
that program. Mm-mm.
Wow, that's so
So we work with
interesting.
the schools.
Yeah, that's why it's different, diba? Parang in Manila, when you say extracurricular, or even it's an after school technically as well. But
Mm-mm.
since I guess we have um helpers, the drivers, yayas, it's a different ecosystem. Like the kids go to programs on their own, like after school, they just get brought to like piano class or
Mm-mm.
reading or kumon, whatever. So, but basically the same concept that it's a program that people take after their classes, right? So, but that's really interesting how you thought of that, because I think that's really different from the usual after school programs offered. And it's meshing together with the lessons in school, which is really the best way that kids absorb what they learn from
Mm-mm.
their teachers. So how did you, as a teacher, as a young teacher, um, facilitate this? Like, did you have partners as well, or because I can imagine the how hectic that would be. And you did it after your own teaching, right? You do teach in class and then do it
Mm-mm.
after. Mm.
Yes, but we also have other teachers, and the
Yeah.
teachers that we have are also classroom teachers. So yeah, they did it after work. So it wasn't just me. I had
Yeah.
coworkers, which I'm very grateful for. So and it's because we're all, I think, because we're all working in the classroom and we share the same philosophy. It was easier to
Yeah.
parang enforce the program or deliver the
Yeah.
program basically.
Yeah. Okay. So that's great. At least you had your fellow teachers to even design it, right? So, with your info that you sent me, you said that you are an Orton Gillingham practitioner and certified catechesis of the Good Shepherd Formation leader.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess those two programs that you practice, you're able to use it to create your curriculum. Can you tell us more about the Gillingham principles? Because in a lot of our listeners are active parents. They research a lot on what kind of school to put their kids into. Like there's a lot of interest in Montessori, of course, and then progressive learning. A lot of moms and dads shifted to homeschooling during the pandemic. There's even a growing unschooling um, movement as well in the Philippines, or I guess anywhere in the world, right? After all the changes that we've been going through as a human race. So I'd love to know more about the Gillingham principles. How is this I assume that's a progressive um, learning style,
Mm-mm.
or can you share with us how it's different?
So Orton Gillingham is it's an approach to teaching actually reading and writing. So it was initially meant for children who had dyslexia. So you know
Mm,
how and the traditional way of teaching doesn't really work for them. So it's not their
yes,
fault. It's just the way that their brains are working. So the
yes,
approach, the Orton Gillingham approach, is very step by step. So you're actually teaching it thematically and you're teaching it intentionally. Like you're teaching them how to write it, um, which how to say it, and how to form their mouth and saying an actual sound and being able to read it, a word. So I would say it's sort of like progressive, but it's more of an
yeah,
approach to teaching. To
yes,
teaching. So
and founded on
because
reading.
other
Founded more on
yes,
reading.
on reading. So initially, although it was for children with dyslexia, what I found was
Yeah.
a lot of our students don't necessarily have the diagnosis that they're dyslexic, but they just needed a little bit more help, and they're not really getting it in the traditional classroom.
I
Kasi if
actually,
you're in the
yeah, go ahead.
No, kasi sometimes if you're in the classroom, there's 30 kids, plus there's only
Yes,
one teacher, they can't really focus on each particular child. And there are some children that get left behind.
that's right.
Um, So we find that there's a lot more parents looking for tutors and looking for this kind of approach
Yeah.
and teaching their kids to read and to write.
That's really interesting too. Because I think, especially now that our kids are actually different from like how we grew up because they have digital, like they are digital natives. They absorb information different way. They process information differently. So even the learning how to read, I don't think we can do anymore what we used to do. Like, well, at least in my time, the
Mm-hmm.
flashcard. The babies, you put them in front of another, then flashcards, and then you do the
Oh,
vowel, consonant thing. That still works for some kids, but even my own daughter, I had to make it thematic. Like we would have to play games. So
mm-hmm.
for just to share, my daughter, she's 16 now, but at the time, I was trying to teach her my way, and I was getting concerned because she would learn to read, but it was a bit slow. Or parang I felt that she was really ready already, but she had a lot of apprehensions. And then we just played a game, a reading game, maybe for like 2 days, and then she was reading right after that. So I feel like we can try these new approaches as well, or maybe not even that new, right? Relatively new, but like you said, it's for dyslexia, but um, I think every kid learns differently. So it's great that you have
Mm-hmm.
that to offer. So um, you're able to mesh that all together in your program, I'm sure. So with the Young Entrepreneur Learning Labs, that was your first experience into being a mompreneur. How did that go? Like, how was it in your early um, stages of setting that up? How did you feel as a mom? You weren't a mom yet. You're a teacher, a
Oh.
young entrepreneur, and were you? Did you? Were you like? Did you go into it like head on, like determined? Because I also know that you came from an entrepreneurial family. Was it like a natural thing that you went into business?
I wouldn't say it was natural. It was always a dream or a goal to have my own business. But of course, being here in Canada, it wasn't easy, and then it's all on you. It wasn't just like the Philippines that you can get
Yeah.
other people to help you do it. So here, you have to do everything. So of course, there was a little bit of apprehension, but at that time when I saw the program, so I worked with, yeah, for the young entrepreneur. It's a program that I think a lot of kids need, or benefit a lot of kids. And if I don't do it I just told myself, if I don't do it at that time, when pa? Like, if I
Yeah.
just stay in teaching, then okay, I'll be contented, and then I wouldn't take the risk again to start my own business.
Yeah.
So when I started it, I was a young teacher. I didn't really I don't I was married, but I don't have a child yet. So I wasn't a mom.
Mm.
So it was a little bit easier in terms of timing, and in terms of being able to juggle many things and doing everything all
Yeah.
at once. But yeah, so which is good. So that's why I think in business it's always about timing. So yeah, so
That's
at that
true.
time, it's also one of the reasons I told myself that I had to do it, because if I wait until I have a child, then I probably wouldn't be able to do it anymore. I
Yeah.
wouldn't have that much time.
Did you at the time, were you received well by the families that you offered the program to? What worked for you during that time?
A lot of families were looking for it, but there was also a learning curve. So when you say young entrepreneur program, you teach kids business. I had the preconceived notion that, it's a certain market of families that would love this program. But it wasn't the case. It was actually a different market. And so there was a
Mm,
learning curve.
yeah.
Uh, there were parents who were looking for something like this, and they registered their kids, they all enrolled, but it was a different market pala. So
From what you originally
although
thought.
it's, yeah,
Mm,
yeah. So, and I think with business, it's one of the things with business. You have to be open, and you have to
yeah.
really learn from what you're seeing,
Yeah,
from
true. It's like you have to
mistakes or
observe what
things.
works and then learn to
Mm-mm.
adjust and innovate along the ways. Parang you can't get stuck with your idea, no? Parang, And it takes a lot of
Yeah,
humility also, I think, right? To be able to like change things around because it's not what you originally thought.
yes. And then our marketing was targeted towards a certain kind of parent, as simple as
Yeah.
the other kind of parent. So you have to be fast then
Mm,
changing and
correct.
adapting.
Yeah,
Mm.
true, true. Okay, so that's really. Are you still doing it now? The program
We're
still
Well,
ongoing.
we took a break because of COVID, so we couldn't do after school, but we were doing summer camps. So camps are 1 week during the summer or spring break. It's still
Mm,
entrepreneurs, a little different now, but yeah, we're doing it pa rin,
yeah,
even with COVID.
and that's the one
And we're
that
actually
you
starting soon.
starting soon because it's summer. Yay! So it's summer
Soon.
here.
Yeah.
And also you do a market day, right? As a culminating activity.
So at the end of the whole program, kids actually sell their own products and their own business. So whatever,
Yeah,
and we do it at the public mall. So and then the money that they make, they get to keep.
that is cool. I would have loved to do that when I was young. But how old again are the kids who can join?
We started 7 years old. So we have programs
Mm,
for grade one up until 15 years old. Grade eight.
okay, cool. Okay, so now I want to ask you about what you mentioned earlier about here it's harder to set up a company here. Well, at least your experience. And I was telling you also off before we started recording that I feel the same way. That is more
Mm-mm.
challenging here because now you have to do things on your own. Plus, I feel I feel like a little baby learning new laws and policies, taxation, even registering your business is easy because you just go online and you register. But you also don't want to
Mm-mm.
make mistakes because it's so strict, right? There's certain rules you have to follow. Unlike in Manila, of course, like our parents were entrepreneurs, like my grandparents were entrepreneurs. Parang we grew up in that environment and we kind of know and the people to ask as well.
Mm-mm.
And then even I'm sure for events like you, I can imagine if I do an event here, like who am I gonna call? My team is in the Philippines, so of course we're gonna learn, but it's quite different. Um, so how did you deal with like your fears or apprehensions mentally, and how do you feel now doing it? Do you still feel like it's like really hard, or are you used to it already?
Um, so to start, yeah, there's an apprehension kasi nga they would always say that and so when we first migrated back in the 90s, like everyone, all the my parents' friends would always say it's so hard to start a business in Canada. That's
Yeah,
why their generation a lot went home because you can
yeah,
never start or you can never have a business in Canada. So growing up, that's what we thought.
yeah.
But when I
Mm-hmm.
moved back here, I saw that there were a lot more Filipinos, a lot more Asians that actually had the
Yeah,
business. And it's not really hard per se because everything is online, and here the system is very good. That's what I found.
that's
The
true.
hard
Yeah,
part is you have to do everything on your own. You can ask for help, but of course, every bit of help you have to pay for it,
yeah.
diba? Like a
True,
lawyer
true.
or an accountant. But
Yeah,
but but you can do it. Like everyone can do it.
yeah,
That's what I thought. And so um and I think that paying for it or taking a risk and learning is it's always part of business, and so that's what really pushed me, and that's always what I just thought that taking a risk and spending money to ask the
yeah.
right people or to get the right help is part of business. um
Yeah.
so we
So
should
it's
always just
basically like
do it
changing our
actually.
mindset also, diba? Like some mind shift as well. So thank you for you're inspiring me because I have set up my companies here, Mommy Mundo and Creative Juice is my agency. But I haven't really started. I'm non-revenue yet. But I'll get there. But I have all these like um fears and apprehensions as well. But
Mm-mm.
I think it's only because it's different from how it used to be. So I think I have to shift my mind. I'll check out Christine and see what she's doing, and I'll call you every time I have questions. But it's really great to have someone
Mm-mm.
to emulate as well. And you coming from that side, right? I also believe that there is truth to yun nga na it's easy in the Philippines because I noticed like even with food, right? Like during the pandemic,
Mm-mm.
there were so many food businesses started
Okay.
online on Instagram. Like I can buy all these food online, and then here there was this Filipino fair a few weeks ago. And just to illustrate lang, 'di ba? So in Manila, you can just set up a kitchen at home, sell whatever you want, and just sell it on Instagram, and that's legal, right? I mean, well, no one really
Yeah.
checks. Here, there was a Filipino fair, and then we were lining up to buy siomai. And then in Tagal, like we were like, it's taking so long. Yung pala, and then it was like mga parang uniformed men on the side. So like, why is there like police officers, or they look like police officers?
Oh,
And then at a certain point, the seller of the siomai opened her steamer, and then the officer, hindi pala siya police, food safety. They had the heat gun. They checked the temperature of the siomai,
ano.
so they wouldn't allow the selling until the siomai reaches a certain temperature, right? So I was
Mm-mm.
like, wow, I've never seen that happen in Manila, right? So everyone sells siomai. Like even in our food fairs in school, right? We sell siomai. And then no one really checked the temperature of the steamer if it's safe enough to
Yeah.
serve. But it's that strict here, right? So parang there's all these regulations you have to follow. But that's how it is. And actually it's good naman for all to like practice all the safety and have regulations and
Mm-mm.
policies in place. So mind shift.
And to avoid shortcuts. Then.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's
Correct.
why I thought when I was starting with the
Yeah.
program. So I thought
Yeah.
um so I went to the accountant, and the accountant actually said that, oh, maybe you don't have to start an actual corporation yet. Just make it part of your own. It's just a
Yeah.
program. But the lawyer wouldn't allow us to do it because although it is a shortcut, it's better nga daw. But he said if you're working with kids, you don't want to deal with liability.
Correct.
And
Correct.
that's another thing I think here. And yeah, so it is yes, you can do a shortcut. You can do the cheaper and the easier way, but
Yeah.
liability.
Correct. Same.
And
Same.
the same with the
Even me.
trauma. Yeah.
Yeah. Same. I wanted to also to start my business without registering. Like I'll do it first at a single proprietorship, but then I said I'm just gonna register it just for safety and also to actually really like do the legit way na lang, diba?
Mm-mm.
So yeah. Okay, good. It's good to learn from you, Christine. So now I want to ask you about your business evolving into retail. So you sent me some really cool products, and I want to talk about that. So some of the products would talk about mindfulness, like teaching mindfulness for children, um, and also your culturally relevant products. So meaning it's products that teach children or parents and children to learn from each other on their culture or their home countries, right? So how did you get into this, and how do you source your products? Like how do you choose the products to carry, and where are they available?
So I guess moving on to retail. So because
Yeah,
of COVID, we couldn't really do programs, and it was actually during the start of COVID that I had my baby, my son.
yes,
So about that time, everyone was so scared about going out. So I was so scared of doing after school or even the summer camp.
yeah,
And so I thought that okay, I had to do something else. And I wouldn't say we pivoted because retail has always been one of the goals. So maybe
yeah,
I think COVID just pushed us
yeah,
to start doing it faster or quicker.
yeah,
So and so my son was growing, and I was thinking of maybe going back to teaching. And so I started looking at resources, and I couldn't
yeah,
really find these resources that's related to families who I am working with. So here in Canada, it's very multicultural, and there's a lot of immigrants. And so we're always
yes,
looking for books that would resonate with the families and the kids. But what I find is all the books would be, it's about the culture, but it would be written by um, people who are non-immigrants or people who are from
yeah,
here, from somewhere else. So when families read it, they don't really enjoy it. It's
Yeah.
more, okay, but they don't really enjoy it, or they don't really say, hey, this is what we used to do back home.
Yeah.
So luckily, there have been more and more authors and more local Philippine companies who are recognizing the need to also, I wouldn't say be proud, but more make resources that are
Yeah.
about our country and our culture. So we found My Little Smart,
Yeah.
and they ask that they make the play kits that introduces the players or the children to the Philippines, the culture, the country, the food, and the fun and engaging way. So we reached out, and it's it's a good thing that it's also it's open-ended play. So it's one
Yeah.
of my beliefs that kids should be allowed to play tech free or screen free. I mean, screen is good, but
Yeah.
not all the time. So having these play kits would allow them to enjoy time with their families, time with parents or grandparents, while also learning about the Philippines or the culture and mindfulness. Yes.
Yes.
And then with books naman, there have been more Filipino authors both here in Canada and the US and in the Philippines who are self-publishing their books. So the books that
Mm.
we have are mostly from self-published authors, and we work with them directly to get their books here and to sell it to the community.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's amazing. So how has it been? How has the reception been with your e-commerce?
So there's a lot of people. It's been good. So a lot of people
Yeah.
have actually. So we found out that there's a lot of people who have actually been looking for things like this. So just recently we were at the Filipino fair that was hosted
Mm-hmm.
by the consulate, and the people who came would say that we've been looking for books like this or for toys like this, and it's good
Yeah.
that it's finally available. So it being online, then it's easier for them, and it's easier to also reach a bigger market in Canada.
Yeah. So congratulations on that. I really love the products that you sent
Thank
me.
you.
I was saying that if my kids were smaller, I would really use them. But yeah, I love it. It's really something that I feel there's a need from actually even my own kids when they moved here, even if they're already grown. Of course, it's a you love what you parang you love where you came from more, but there's more appreciation of what you left behind, and parang there's more
Mm-mm.
curiosity as well. Then for the parents naman, you want to pass it on. You don't want it to just disappear in your child's life. You want it to continue on. So it's amazing tools to keep that alive in our families.
Mm-mm.
And the products are amazing too, right? They're so well made, well thought out.
Mm-mm.
And it's like you said, it really is a tool for interactive, open-ended play and interaction in the family. Like you had these cards, pa, di ba, that start conversations with your kids and
Mm-mm. Yeah,
while they're learning
true.
the language too. So where can they get the products right now?
The products are on available online on our website. It's www.summit-kids.ca. Or you can always message us on Instagram at SummitKidsCA, and we can always help you with the sale on or answer any questions on Instagram or send us an email.
Yeah, cool. So where do you ship to, Christine? What
We
areas do you
ship
cover?
we ship worldwide. So we've had of course we ship
Cool.
wherever in Canada and the US, but we've shipped to I believe to Switzerland, and we've always also shipped down to Australia. So anywhere,
Cool. That's
anywhere.
amazing. Parang Amazon.
Yeah.
I love e-commerce. No, it's really. I mean, that's I think one of the gifts of the pandemic was that we can just find anything online and everything's available. Um, it opens up a lot also for entrepreneurs, a lot of opportunities for entrepreneurs. So congrats on finding your vision, and I look forward to more products. I'm sure you're like
Thank
continuously
you.
sourcing as well. What is your purpose for the mindfulness products? Do you see the benefit of kids learning mindfulness? I'm also a mindfulness advocate and teacher.
Mm-mm.
So how do you see it benefiting kids, especially nowadays in these times of digital and all that fast-paced life?
I think I believe that everyone should practice mindfulness, not just kids
Yeah.
or not just a certain group of people, but
Yeah.
a lot of people would say, I don't know how to start it. And so with the kids, you can actually use it, or it has cards that actually guide you on different mindfulness activities that you could do throughout the day. So when you wake up
Yeah.
in the morning, just even taking a deep breath and being grateful or thanking
Yeah.
what you want to accomplish that day. It's already a good activity, or a simple activity like that. It's already enough to bring you to center ourselves, basically.
Yeah.
And what's good about the mindfulness kit that we have from My Little Smart, it incorporates the Filipino culture to the different activities. So when we mano, or when we bless our elders, we think that, oh, it's just nothing, but it's actually an activity that, you know, humility, a practice of humility, and
Yeah.
being calm as well, because you can't really greet anyone
That's
you're
true.
so hyper or so energetic.
Yeah. And also an awareness that, oh, there's someone here that you have to honor, right? Or
Mm-mm.
just breathe and then uh recognize that there's someone here and then approach, and like
Just greet
it's a whole
them.
ritual or tradition that they have to, or they
Mm-mm.
would, that would be good to follow. So
Yeah,
yeah. And
and then awareness of why we're doing things, because a lot of times
true,
you'll just,
true.
okay, so I'll greet them,
Mm,
so, but you don't really know why are you greeting them, or why are you doing this.
yeah.
And I think practicing mindfulness and being in the habit of doing mindful activities, it becomes more like a, not really a habit, but it becomes more automatic with us.
Yeah, that's true. And I also like it that the product allows for interaction. Like it's a tool for the parents to teach the kids in a more intentional way. Like sometimes, diba, we
Mm-mm.
tell our kids it's all should, diba? Parang, you should make mano, you should do this, you should do this. But with the tools, like the products that you carry, um, there's a prompt. Like the parents have to also, it's a reminder for us to explain why.
Why?
And also this, that at least there's a connection. It's a gives you reason to communicate with your kids, because sometimes now we don't even know how to communicate with our kids because they're different from us, or they know a lot of things that we're not familiar with because of technology. But because of these tools and it's like a game pa sometimes, diba? Like it's cards, so it's gamified way of teaching.
Mm-mm.
Even moms who are not natural teachers, it's easy for them. So I would always say, before I would think na moms who are teachers, like you, like your kids are so lucky because every moment can be a teachable moment. Like even like you guys know how to teach reading during breakfast because like you know the tools. But not all moms have that gift of being teachers. Um, so do you have any tips for moms who are not natural teachers? Like how do
Mm-mm.
they make moments teachable, or how do they make their kids listen to them and like be open to things they're teaching if they're not like in the mood, or if it's not the right
Mm-mm.
environment, or baka hindi lang nila feel they're not listening anymore. Like how do you get to that point that the kids are open to learn?
I think every moment is a teachable moment, but we shouldn't think of it as a teachable moment. You know what I mean? Because if I think
Ah,
that, oh, this is a teachable moment, and I have to think, what am I teaching? It adds pressure to you and to your child that, oh, what is my mom teaching me? So if you just enjoy that day and just go on with your activities or with your conversation, then
yeah.
your child is already learning. And it's not that's also what I apply to in the classroom. Like we would do a lot of lesson plans, and I would overthink sometimes, like, okay, so at this time, what am I supposed to teach the kids? How can I relate it? And more often than not, I find that the kids are not listening anymore because
Mm,
you overthink things, and it's not fun. So I think that's the same with at home with your kids. If you start thinking of, or start pressuring of finding a teachable moment, then it's harder. So I think just be in the moment with your child, just engage in conversation with them, listen to them,
yeah.
answer their questions, and be inquisitive as well. Then they're learning and you're also learning. Diba? Like a walk in the
I
park
love
is always,
that.
Yeah, like a walk
Yeah.
in the park.
Natural,
There's a
keep it
lot.
natural and
Mm. So less pressure for
okay.
you and less pressure for the child too.
That's true. So I guess they also feel or stress, no? Like if you plan it too much, then they like close down. And there's also like you're pressuring them to learn just to keep it natural, like
Yeah.
in context of life. And then
Mm.
I love that tip. Okay.
Yeah. Like
Thank you for
when you're
that.
walking at the park, you're gonna say, "Oh, this is
Yeah.
a flower. Like what kind of flower?" For ikaw din sometimes we don't know what the flower is. So
Yeah.
they would sense that you're trying to teach them. And kids are very they have an absorbent mind. So if you just talk to
True.
them, if you just engage with them, they would remember and they would take everything in. So
Yeah.
I think that's the probably the best advice that I can give is just to
Yeah,
relax
I love that.
and take it as it is.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. So let's not pressure ourselves too much, but I think that's true what you said about just being in the present. Because you won't be able to recognize the moments, the best times, or
Mm,
what your child is really interested in at the time if you're like distracted also. Right. And they say that it's the time of interest, like when your child is interested about something, it's the best time for the child to absorb that lesson in quotes
oo.
because they're interested, right? So we have to catch those moments too, but we will be able to catch those moments only if we're present at the
Present.
time
Mm.
in
I
mind
mean, we
and
can
heart.
still plan, but we can still plan naman that, oh, if I'm going to the
Yeah,
park, maybe we'll see these animals. But you don't
yeah,
have to always have your like flashcards or activity kit with you. You could just point out things if you see, oh, I see there's water, bakit may water? Oh, maybe it rained this morning, that's why there's water pooling or there's puddles. Diba? And then if you
yeah,
see the trees are moving, then that's also a teachable moment. Then you can just talk about it, like, oh, it's windy or what's the weather. Then
yeah.
the kids are already learning and enjoying being with you as well.
That's true. That's true. Thank you for that. Oh, and I wanted to also ask you, because you have a product that actually teaches parents to help their kids label emotions.
Mm-mm.
And that is a
Emotional
mindfulness tool,
care.
right? And that's something that we didn't learn as kids. Na parang in my time, because we're ibang batch. Seriously. In my time, when you cry, di ba they're just gonna say, stop crying, or you're such a baby, or
Mm.
oh, you're already 12 years old, don't cry, or whatever, or you're a boy, don't cry. Parang we were taught to not honor our feelings, but now kids are actually being taught to label their feelings, honor their feelings. So can you share with us the value of that, and also like how you have products that actually do that, and did you see any benefits to it?
So feelings and emotions have to be validated in children and even in adults.
Yeah.
And I find that you're right that back then, if you're at a certain age, you shouldn't be crying, or we were taught
Yeah.
to stop crying. Or you're overreacting. Why are you doing that? But
Yeah.
like with kids, they can't really express themselves, and crying or laughing is just a way for them to tell us what they're actually feeling.
Yeah.
But it's also up to us to give them the right words and the right knowledge, and to be able to understand what they're feeling. So the emotion cards, so it's a set of cards and it has all different, like there's a lot of emotions there. So when we
Yeah.
were growing up,
I
for
love
us,
that.
like, oh, why are you crying? Oh, I'm sad. But what is sad?
Yeah.
There's actually different reasons for a person to cry. Not everyone who cries is sad. It's maybe they're overwhelmed or they're
Yeah, or in
afraid or they're
yeah, upset
surprised
or in pain, even
or
no,
in pain
or
or
disappointed.
or
Yeah, that's
disappointed.
true.
And if someone is laughing naman, it doesn't mean that they're always happy. They're happy, but they could also be like really excited about something. That's why they're laughing. And so these
True.
cards, so in front there's a picture of the emotion of the person with the emotion, so the kids can relate to it. Like, oh, the person is happy or smiling. So it's easier for them to relate if that's what their face looks like or the person that their playmate looks like. And then on the
Yeah.
back, there's conversation pieces and does what do those emotions bring? So if you're if you are excited, what is excited? Like you're really looking forward to something. So it labels it and it makes it more concrete
Mhm.
for kids to
Mm.
understand. Because when we say, "Oh, you're just so worried," a child
Yeah,
might say, "I don't know what worried is," or
that's
diba?
true.
That's yung pala, that's not what they're feeling. We're just labeling it for them, but maybe they're not feeling that naman pala. So having the
Yeah.
conversation piece and asking those questions would be able, it would allow us to teach the child understand emotions more and
Yeah,
us
true.
to understand what the child is actually feeling.
Yeah. And I think that also feeds into our human need to be seen, right? Like everyone wants to be seen and understood. I think a lot of childhood pain comes from not feeling seen and understood. Like, for example,
Mm-mm.
when we were heartbroken, for example, our crush didn't make us pansin or something. And then
You're
our parents at
sad.
the time didn't really know why. Like they'd say, "Oh, um, yeah, you're sad," or they didn't know it's like heartbroken, or actually you feel insecure about yourself because someone rejected you. Parang there's so many things, nuances to feelings.
Mm-mm.
And if we only knew how to say it, if our parents also recognize that, then we would feel understood. And diba they say there's this term na name it to tame it. Have you heard of
Mm-mm.
that? Na parang if you name a feeling, it dissipates. It dissipates
And it's
because
easier to
you
manage it. Yeah.
easier to manage. Parang kasi sometimes when we feel emotions, it's swirling all over the bus, swirling in our heads, swirling in our minds, makes us confused.
Mm-mm.
But when we pin it down, we're like, oh, that's it. I'm upset or I'm disappointed. Then you can adjust
But yeah.
it
And
better.
I think the cards are
Yeah.
not just for kids actually. We've tried it with
Yeah,
some seniors.
actually. Yeah.
Um, yung mga seniors that are in care homes, diba? Like
Ah,
seniors are
yes.
having a harder time explaining. Like some of them are losing their memory or ability to express themselves, so it's harder for them to explain what they're actually feeling. And
Oh,
so we've used it
yeah.
with some like the older people to ask to ask questions like, oh, how are you feeling today? Are you feeling like tell me what you're feeling or what you're um seeing or why?
What
And
you're
so
going
we
through.
help them
Ah,
label it.
yeah. Oh, that's so
So and it's
nice.
yeah, so it's not just for kids. It's actually for anyone.
For everyone,
And
yes.
right, and we've had it in senior homes. So some of the seniors would have their own deck of cards, and
Mm.
so sometimes they don't feel like talking, so they just put it na I feel overwhelmed, and then it's a sign
Ah,
na for the care person now. Sige, I'm not gonna talk to this person first, or
give
maybe
him
I'll just come
space.
back later.
Mm. Oh, that's so beautiful. So, what are those cards called, Christine? So at least if people are interested to check them out.
So they're called emotion cards. They're by
Mm.
Emotion Vivo. Also, it's also another product from the Philippines that it's by
Yeah.
um a nurse. So she was the one who came up with all these different emotions and the cards, the drawings, and the conversation pieces that you can use with it. So
Yeah, I
most of
love
our
it. I
products
love
we
these products.
actually yeah, most of the products that we source, we try to make sure that they're not just relevant, that they're science that backs them up basically. So like the
Yeah.
emotion cards are by
Mm.
someone who studied these emotions and have
Yeah.
applied them in her own practice. And some of the books naman are like written by speech and language pathologists, and so it helps kids also deal with emotions. So we try to make
Mm.
sure that the
Yeah.
products are something that will really benefit the families and the parents using it.
Yeah. I think it's
And
really
also the
different.
yeah,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
sorry, and then the play kits also
Yeah.
they're made locally in the Philippines by and then the people who actually work on it, it's for their livelihood projects then. So
Mm,
like the
that's
sungka
great.
set, the ones that carve them are local artisans, and they're also the ones that makes the holiday craft kits like the paroles. So when you get when we get a play kit, you not only help yourself because you have a new toy or you have a new product, you're also helping
Yeah.
a local community who works on it.
Oh yeah, that's so purposeful. I love it. Thank you, Christine.
Yeah.
That's great. And I wish you more power in your retail. I hope it just keeps growing and growing. And I love the fact that you ship worldwide. So that's really important. So summit-kids.ca. No, that's correct? Yeah, so
Yep.
check her products out. So as a parting question, I wanted to ask you how you're doing as a mompreneur now that you are a mom with a baby. How has it changed, and are you more inspired? Like for example, do you have other plans for your business now that you have a growing child? Sometimes you see different needs that are not being met
Mm-mm.
in the market. So how has it been as a mompreneur, legit mompreneur already?
I think it's a little bit, I would admit it's a little bit harder time wise because when I started it was just me and my husband. So, every time I have a class or anytime I have something like, okay, I just go out, I just go. But now
Yeah,
it's logistics, figuring out care, who's going to stay home, dinner, all those stuff. So it's a little bit different. Juggling time and time at home. Um,
yeah,
but it's rewarding being a mom and being a mompreneur, and also being a mom. What I find is being a mom, it pushes me to do more and to actually
yeah,
um, grow the business and find better products. Because back then I started this with the mindset or the viewpoint of a teacher. Like, what product do
yes,
I need in the classroom? But now it's more, what product do I need at home that I actually want to play with at home? So
yes.
yeah, so being a mom does change your mindset a little bit, but for the better.
Yeah, that's great. That's good to know. And I'm sure that will bring even more success to your business and maybe more expansion and growth as well. Do hope to work with you soon, whether
I
you're
hope
in
so.
Canada or in the Philippines. It's so good to connect with fellow moms right now all over. And thank you again for reaching out to me. It's good to meet you. And hopefully soon we'll meet face to face.
Yes.
Okay, so thank you,
Thank
Christine,
you.
for being with me on You the Mom. And more power to you and stay safe and healthy.
Thank you. Thanks. Thanks for inviting us.
Okay, bye.
Bye.